Yom Hadin is coming, which is Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the time when you make a accounting of your deeds of the year, if you're good or bad. And the question is, how should a person approach it? When you go to the hospital, the person had, let's say, Rahman's from a sickness, a terrible like cancer or something. There's a question, should the doctors reveal to the patient the sickness or not? Here is question, argument going over. What do you think? So here we have an article by Rabbi Itzela Belzen in Tettitzburg. He's involved in an interesting point. I want to read you the point, but somebody of you girls will read it for me. Okay. Who will start to read and translate? Let's get do you have a copy? No. I got one last copy here. There are two parts here. No, I got it. She got it. Cherdes Hadin Etzem Refuah. The fear of Yom Hadin is itself the Refuah. Itself is the medicine. What medicine you take for Yom Hadin? What is the medicine? So, I'm going to tell you. You're not a cheap person to read a little bit of it. Do the best we can in the story. Come right in. You can bring him right in. Come right in. My pleasure. Come in. 2 places over there. Let's come right in. Again, we'll start again. Fear, by the way, is an interesting topic we're going to talk a little bit about later. Most people do things or don't do things because of fear. More than one. The question is, what about fear of Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment? Does that have any value or not? So I hear somebody read, no? You read the first paragraph, the second paragraph, the third paragraph. The Holy Haguf, the sickness of the body. Yachbidu levav hakrovim. When a person is very sick, really sick, so the doctors will put heavy on the hearts of the relatives. Sometimes they will hide from the patient the seriousness of the sickness. Why? Leman, I'll read a little bit. Leman lo yirach levava v'lo yifached. In order that his heart will not become weakened or have fear. In other words, question, what is the reaction of the person when the doctors say you're sick? The person all of a sudden gets like paralyzed. Usually when you see, let's say you see a difficulty, so they have FF called fight or flight. Fight or flight. Either you fight or you flight, but there's an in-between position. You freeze. Freeze is a different story. You get new problems. So what happens here? So you hear the information that the person's very sick. So now, how does the person react? So if we know the person's going to react and is going to get depressed, down, feeling bad, so then the body can no longer fight the disease or the problem. So already what they gain. To tell the person nothing also is not good, because then they say, I'm okay. So again, then the body's not fighting. So you have to get to the position where the body will react in a way, in a degree, where it will be active and to fight, because we have adrenaline gland in our bodies, and our bodies have to force and do, and the mind over matter, and you can tell the body to fight, or imaging, whatever you want to say, imaging, or whatever you want to say, you do, and you're able to fight what you have. But there's sometimes you don't tell a person why. Because, you know, they're going to get depressed and down, and they're going to have fear, and they don't produce. They just, adrenaline, just let them get, they freeze, or they have fright, or fear, right? The whole there, this is all talking about when you don't tell the person. When we're still dealing with the person, we're giving him medicine, so we're helping him, so then we don't have to tell him, because the medicine is also working. In other words, something is being done for the patient. Normally we would want the person to know about it, and psychologically and with all kinds of energy of the body itself to fight. But that's all good. You don't tell a person when you are already involved in giving him medicine. At least the medicine is doing it. But when the sick person is lazy, he's not interested in going to the doctor. He says, I'm okay, no problem, I'll live, don't worry, no problem. So the doctor has to reveal to him, es matzovo, has to tell him his state of being. Well, man, you tell him, but listen, bud, you know, you got high blood pressure, you got heart attack, this, you got diabetes, listen, you can't eat all those sugars and cakes you're going to these things, you know. You have to tell the person, you know what happened to the last person that did like this? Died away, you know, we people that smoke cigarettes, you know, died of cancer, right? So you get a little scared, otherwise he's doing nothing. In other words, you have to do something about your sickness. Somebody is sick, so you have to do something about it. Because how do you go about it? So if already the person is taking medicine, so then we don't tell the person all his problems. Why? Because on the condition that he's going to weaken his heart. But if you know it'll strengthen him, and he'll do tshuva, and he'll change his ways, and he'll fight, so then we definitely tell him. That increases the medicine. But if the person is lazy or non-caring, you have to make him care, because he has to take care of. He doesn't take care of his body, he doesn't fight, doesn't go to the doctors, so you think, nothing, it's not good. Kain b'choli hanefesh. Similarly, in the sicknesses of the soul, just like this physical sickness is a sickness soul. Mishu oiseh b'refuas hanefesh. L'pomim sometimes tov yoseh mibeli lahakil libo laharos legoydo machalos. Sometimes it's better not to tell the person how sick they are, psychologically, spiritually, physically. Why? Because it just knocked the person out. L'pomim sometimes. But if that person is not doing anything to help himself spiritually grow, you're forced to tell him, listen, you have to make it heavy on his heart, that situation is bad. Child's floating, everything is good, this and that. What's made of that? V'hinei b'yomim harishonim b'yigia rosh chodesh Elul. Now we have the beginning of the month of Elul that we're in. Also Roshim Akol Ish. We know that the month of Elul come, we have 1 month to go before Rosh Hashanah. Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, and you have to check and straighten out your act, fix up your problems, because God is going to judge you, right? Bahari Nikar, Al Kol Echad, Kihu Mishana Darkal Tov. It's recognized everybody is changing. Like the more girls today, they expect more. People are changing, they want to learn more Torah, they want to get involved, they want to change away. This is recognized. Maybe it's better, ulai, perhaps, you don't tell them the terrible force of what is Yom Hadin. Ulam b'avnaseinu harabim, in a terrible time. Asher hamatzav aruchni hu mimadrega shvei lamod. In our situation today, when the spiritual heights are very low. Rosh Chodesh Elu Einu Nika Kala Pnei, we can't see on the faces of people. Rosh Chodesh Elu. Huchrach Levaris Matzav Nervi. You have to tell him the Hechrach. What is your name? In order to face New Year, another New Year is coming by. So when you think of New Year's, what do you think? I'm buying how many New Year cards I'm going to buy, and what I'm going to do. You're going to change your ways a little bit, a little better, but you don't get the seriousness of what is happening. So therefore, we're forced to tell you about Yom Kippur. With problems sometimes. Mitzad echad nochutz moed lidia la'choila matzavo. On one side, it's important to tell the sick man of that situation. Kidoma simile. Im harofim yomu kach, if the doctors will tell him so. Ach refuah achas yesh la'choila. Lahav ito ulavchido. There's one refuah that a sick man had. That is to make him, get him scared. Kuvda lahu taya. There was this traveler. The shochet livnoi ba'achuzas einen kedei shikonas meyo. He did something. I don't know the story. He did something that the son should see, and he got nervous and excited, and he was able to eat the food. There's sometimes you have to scare the person, and that itself will shake the person up, and that itself is the refuah. That itself is the medicine. It's a little hard to understand, but I want to explain it. Hine mitzvah says, behold, there's a positive commandment. Shiur, you have to fear Hashem. There's a general positive commandment, you have to fear God. Kolel hein yiras ha'onish ve'hen yiras ha'ramim. Two things: fear of sin or fear of the greatness and the awe of the Almighty. Kol dovar sha'aseichel noisin liyira v'nei hamelach ma'achamach. Any way that will cause you to fear God, to shape yourself up, to know you must change, because the leverage of a person to change is usually pain. The greatest force to move a person is pain. If you feel that this is painful, you're going to get into trouble. So what you're doing is wrong, it is painful, you're going to have pain. So that's the leverage for a person to change. That's in all psychology before. So similarly, v'chein pachad miyom hadin. V'zeh atzmam ha'yira. This itself is the fear in the positive community, fear in God, that you know there's a time you have to shape up. It says in Pirkei Avos, there are 10 generations from the creation of the world to Noah. And there's a certain point the Almighty has mercy. There's a certain point that you have to come and shape up. There's a Yom Hadin. You have an accounting. You give out checks and all this stuff. Come the day you have to pay the bill. You find out that somehow the older you want it, and what's going to happen is Yom Hadin. What are you going to do? That's the story. Whatever it may be, you treat your child nicely. This and at the end, Yom Hadin, he says Shalom. No more Yeshiva. He says, when Yom Hadin comes, whatever reason, it's Yom Hadin. There's a certain point where you got to come to a realization of where you are, who you are, and what's happening. That's Yom Hadin. V'zeh segulas hashofar, similarly, the blowing of the shofar. Now, a I want to read you a little story here from Rabbi Scheimer. He writes in beginning of the book. You can photos that about it. Even though the commandment of blowing the shofar Rosh Hashanah is a commandment from God, however, remez yeshba, there's an additional part to blowing the shofar. Koloma uru yeshena mishanaschem. Wake up, people who are sleeping, sleepers. V'nir domim, heikitzu. Wake up. Mitir damaschem. V'chipshu masechem, search your deeds, and return to do tshuva. In other words, when you blow the shofar, it has it's a mitzvah. But when you also blow the shofar, it's to get a person to shake. As it says in the Navi, in Amos, how you talk a shofar, if you blow the shofar, people don't get afraid to change the Yom Hadin. So Rabbi Scheinberg makes a inference from this. From here we see Shemikaro ha'avoida be'elo ba'achono yom ha'kisei b'tshuva shuhai le'koich ha'tziyon l'tzar korach ha'ma'atzon matzav hadin u'matzav oli. So therefore, when you blow the shofar, you have a picture in your mind that is Yom Hadin, the Day of Judgment, and we want that picture in our mind. In Malitza means in rhetorics. So they teach you that words also, or examples, help you change your concept, or increase your concept. So we have a concept, the Day of Judgment. How do we increase that? We feel it's serious, it's important. And so therefore, the shofar gives us that incentive to think about it. Blowing the shofar, war, trumpet, king is coming. And therefore that gives us an incentive to change our being. So therefore over here, the shofar is a segula, lahachilei, to shake our hearts. See, but most Americans, most Anglo-Saxons don't have any fear. Why? They're in trouble, they always get a lawyer. They know they always can have a way out. They're in trouble, lost some money, they'll call their father and their mother up. There's no problem. The Americans have always a way out. There's no problem. They always find a way. And then afterwards, anything happens, not so bad anyway. Other people like that also. And they find their friend. And there's no real busha, there's no real fear. Today we don't have real fear. And even in Israel, you have a bomb attack. People still go to Machne Yehudit, still go to Ben Yehuda. Nothing happens. One day goes by, 3 days, people forget. Didn't affect the person's family, the personal self. It's finished. It's over. And there's a reason for that, you know. Let's say there are certain countries like Persia, or Morocco, or these countries where there's always a lot of poor people. So in the street there's always beggars. In India there's always loads of beggars. So you see a beggar, it's every day, it's nothing mean. But imagine a beggar goes on 5th Avenue, a fancy place, you see a beggar. Take your hands in your pocket, get to the beggars. You see once in a while a beggar, we see beggars all day long. We have the newspapers, we have all day long, there's murders, and the child kills the mother, and this kills dad, and this murders dad, and this hangs this other person on that. So today, every day there's murders in newspapers. Every time you open a newspaper, is how many murders are in the newspaper every day, and how many stories you have, and how many. So we all read all these books, and after a while, so it becomes like normal. You have a hospital, and in a hospital, you say 1 out of 1,000,000 has this disease, but this hospital has this particular disease. You have 50 patients. You think that's a common disease? You have 50 patients, no problem. But it's really 1 out of 1,000,000 that's disease. So we lose the fear and lose the meaning. Today it's very lost. Fear, God-fearing is very hard to find. To find a God-fearing person is fear. Yom Hadin. Be careful. You have to do more. They get excited and nervous. I always say in America, you're at your mind practically doesn't exist. God-fearing is an American practice. Very hard to find. But also it's not the other way, a lot of craziness of shaking and fearful. It's not a nervous tension either. It's an understanding. It's a rational understanding. Okay, let's go further. That's a very big finish. You see, Yom Hadin, Yom Hadin is the day of, you have to fear God. So, and fearing God is what? A positive commandment. So when you fear God, what's going to happen now? You got a positive commandment. So you won out by having a positive commandment. Yeah. It's a very big step, this Rabbi. Again, should you know about Yom Hadin, fear Yom Hadin? Should we say? It's a good thing if it will bring you to realization of change, it'll be a leverage to change. Okay? So that's one way. It's a means to change. But the fear itself, the fear of God itself, is a positive commandment. So itself is a positive. That itself is the reward. Why? Because what is God asking you? What does God want from you? To fear Him. What's the end of Kehalah say? The end of Kehalah, what does it say? Right? The fear of God. So then at the end, and Isha Shera is a fear of God, and Isha Chayil, the woman of word, is what? The woman that fears Hashem. So at the end, the fear itself is what? Who you should be and what you should be doing. So it comes out that the fear of God of Yom Hadin is itself your medicine, because that's what God wants you to do. And you already did the positive commandment, you already fear God, so you already won. You already did His will.
You think we're in good shape.
In good shape if you happen to get that fear of God. You get the question, where is it? I want to buy 10 bags of fear. Okay, fear of God. I'll buy it. Where is it? It's not around. You can't buy it. You have to have it. Like love, you can't buy it. You have to get it. Not there. That's the story in a nutshell. Same thing as fear of God. You have it. You have to work on it. Yeah. That's a very big finish, young ladies. So therefore it's important to talk about Yom Hadin will be only to get the fear in your heart. As soon as you have a little fear in your heart, you already won. You're ready to medicine. Ready to fear God. And you fear God, already you got the big commandment. So that's the essence of man is what? Fear of God. When you go to the next world, and they ask you, what did you do in this world? You say, I've already lived it. And if that's all good if you fear God, and fearing God is your essence. But if you don't have fear of God, you're out of the picture. You missed the point. So the point is the point itself, you say. Although it means to do tshuva as a means to an end. You got it? Although it's a means to the end to tshuva, but itself is, the fear of God itself, although it's a means to do tshuva, but also in itself is, the same thing is on Rosh Hashanah. Explain that. Rosh Hashanah, we get all dressed up nicely, right? And we get dressed up nicely and everybody prepares their clothes. And that itself, because we have faith, and we have faith in God, and since we're His children, and God created the world, and He loves us, and it's for our benefit, so therefore the Yom Hadin, the day is for our benefit, even though something may not come out where we're going to like it, how God's going to give us the year it's going to be, but it's for our benefit. So our benefit, we have confidence and faith that He's going to do the right thing. Like Sarah Meinu, she had total confidence whatever God's going to do. That's for her benefit. And that's the right thing. So that be talking in emunah that God does the right thing, created the world, God is good, and does the right thing. So then you get dressed up, and you know whatever's going to be, bad or good, is going to be the good. Because even for bad, you make a blessing. Baruch Dayanemes. Somebody dies, you say, oh, well, good, you say a blessing. So then it comes out what? That whatever you do, it's for the best. That's what He has done before the Bechira. Before the Bechira, you have to decide. After the Bechira, you accept it as the best, and you go forward. Understand? Whatever it is, we don't know what it is. But you have to be talking to be the best. So you dress up nicely and you accept the reality. Accepting reality, accepting God is correct, is justice, and that itself, by dressing up and having the simona and taking an apple and dipping it into the honey and saying all these Yehirot songs, that itself is our attitude, how we face life and how we face God and how we face the world. And that's a very positive step that Jewish people have. That's how we're living. So how can the Jews live through the Holocaust and all the troubles we had in the world, in Spain, the Inquisition, and the murders in Russia? How? Because we have this positive attitude. Oh, we have on Rosh Hashanah that what? We dress up, we accept God's faith, God is good, the world is just, and we accept and we're positive for it. That itself gives us, that itself is the what? The refuah to get us a good year. That itself is the refuah. Yes.
It says that the fear itself
is the medicine.
The medicine or
Medicine.
the purpose of the...
No, the medicine. It is the medicine.
Because
Who etzem adavar hu yiras Hashem.
it says
Here, Zos tiyeh refuah so be'emes. The paragraph before.
because he separates the separation between fear of fear of punishment and fear of
Yeah, but we don't get to it, but you gotta get it. You see, this way, that way you gotta get it. If you're in a low level, you get fear of sin. In a higher level, you get it from fear of the glory and the greatness of God. But you have to get it. You see, you have to be a God-fearing world. And the essence of a woman is fearing God. Because fear means control. Fear means guiding yourself and not in your personal desires and directing yourself to the will of God. Yeah.
How does that go with the confidence?
I just said also. I show you another aspect. No, it doesn't go with the confidence. It goes both together. You see, one is fear, but also in the fear, you still have fear, but you know whatever God does is good. You dress yourself up for the good. You have bitachon, and Hashem, you have fear. Of course you have fear. You know what's going to be, but you know He's going to give you the best thing. You don't know the future, but you know that, and you know that you have to shape up. Right? Yeah.
But if you're saying that Hashem builds in, like Rosh Hashanah is to help us move, like Mordechai.
To move to be what?
To move
God-fearing and have bitachon and Hashem.
Just like
Which means our attitudes to life. It stamps, when Rosh Hashanah comes in, God says, takes a picture of you. How do you feel and where you are? How is your feeling? You have now a barometer to test you how your year is going to be. At that second thing, how are you feeling? Are you God-fearing? Are you happy, bitachon? At this moment, what is your attitude towards the day of judgment? How are you feeling? We have a way of testing your feeling. Now we test you, yes.
Am I going to get all I want?
Are you going to get what?
If I'm God-fearing and I have a good attitude and everything, will I get what I want?
You'll get what's good for you. Nobody knows what's good for you. You get what's good for you. But God wants it. We don't know why or what. Well, you get good for you. But you can pray to God on Rosh Hashanah to give you what you want. That's all. What you get is what's good for you. What you created for you. Who knows what's good for you? You think it's good for you, not good for you. Maybe, yeah. But definitely God will do the best thing for you. Now, if you want something special, you can ask Him what you want special.
on that day.
And you could get it, you could not get it. And you have to pray, you want it. So God says, here it is. He says you wanted it. And you do want it, you know. And depending on what happens. And also how you get it, what you get. A person, let's say, has to get money. God says, Rosh Hashanah, you're going to have X amount of money. Now, you can get it many ways. You can get it through a lottery, through somebody dying, through Yerusha, that means inheritance. You can get it through borrowing, for working. You can borrow, you can steal. You know, but you get the money. Because how you get it, how you going to get the money, another story. You understand how you going to get the money? You get it through many ways. Same thing, you get it. Who says you get it, you want it that way. You know what I mean? I had a fellow in New Jersey. There's quite big, about 3 blocks long there, big factory. He owed the government a few $1 million in taxes, and he decided it's better for him to go to jail for the year and not pay those taxes. And depends on you get the money away. Good. So you meet the guy after he went to jail, came out of jail. What happened? There's a true story about it. His wife and his children had such embarrassment in the community because of the newspapers, etc., that she divorced her husband. In America, the husband, wife, and husband divorced each other. It's not like and the whole family went under. So he had a few $1 million stacked away, which he didn't pay the government. He went in all these court cases. But in the end, he lost his wife, he lost his kids. So he said to us, because we're rabbis, people tell us their hearts. So listen, you know it was worth it. When he first went in, he thought it's worth it, and his wife thought it's worth it, and everybody said it's worth it, blah, blah, blah. When it came to the reality, it didn't work. It wasn't worth all the money. He's a broken man. Yeah.
Rabbi, do we have the attitude of like it increases my chances of getting what I want if I improve my behavior?
You see, you got the wrong story. See, you don't talk about what you want. But what you really should want is what? Do God's will. Okay. See, that's exactly what we're against. But we're supposed to want what? To do God's will. Now, again, so what you want is called Yetzer Hara. What you want is called physical. What you want is even spiritual things. And you feel these things you want will help you what? To do God's will. And define what's God's will. Whatever God's will is. And you have to do God's will to give Him nachasur, to please God. The way of doing God's will, but doing it in a way that do God's will that pleases God. Doing it in a nice, beautiful way. So now, you want to do things, get what you want. I explain. Who says you want? First of all, you want is not the right question. You should want to serve God and please God. Now, you feel that you have these things, you'll be able to solve it. Maybe God says no. If your real goal is to please me and to do my will and do it in a beautiful way, who knows? Maybe once you leave poverty, and in poverty, you'd be better off. And rich, maybe you'd be in bad shape. You forget about God, forget about you. Nobody knows. Nobody knows when they change the what happens with the other person's shoes, or what will be. Nobody knows if it's good or bad for you. You may think it's good, you may think it's good. You have a mean husband, what happens then? It's not worth all you being married. So who says getting married is the thing? When you get married with a husband, a happy one. You have all these little things added to it. So it doesn't mean. You want a lot of things. Sometimes what you want. So the whole thing is, the whole thing is, again, you're accepting what God is going to give you. When you're asking Him, that's your basic approach. Now, that's finished. Give me life, which is the main thing. Give me health. But those things are natural things that everybody knows you need in order to learn, or in order to worship. And that's health is written in all the texts. A sick man cannot worship God. So you want this, and that. Now, you want enough to live. Well, you got enough to live. Okay, your lifestyle living means rice, and a little piece of bread, and don't have all those wonderful steaks and other people have and traveling. You don't have. You wear the same clothing. That's 20 years. But you're living. You're around. It's hard, but you're living. So you're doing. God wants you to thank Him for His will, whatever's happening there. Now, so that's the basic approach of Rosh Hashanah. And there's nothing to ask Him. And in Rosh Hashanah, you don't ask for your needs. You say, you're the boss. I totally subjugate to you, and I accept whatever you do, and I'll do whatever you say, and I want to do your will. And I said, I want life, I want this and that. Now, what you do is on Rosh Hashanah, which I do, and I have a piece of paper at certain places, I say, I'm going to do tshuva here, God. Why should He give me life for next year? So I got to say, listen, I'm needed by my family. That's what women say, I'm needed. If I disappear, what's going to happen to my family? God, in order to help the family, I'm needed, so keep me alive and then help my family. Or I'm needed to do this, I'm needed to that. So the first thing is needed. Okay, needed. Then you have, I'm gonna be a better person. So if give me a chance to do tshuva, so give me a chance in this world, give me some time to do tshuva to change my ways. See, that's another thing. You ask Him, why should He give you a life? You've been doing the same tricks every year and they're promising you're not producing. Every year you say the same trick, the same story. What do you do? So therefore, you got to figure what to do. Now you don't say, I'm not sure, give me this, and that. You don't say that. You could also, at certain point at the end of the Shema Esrei, You can ask for God. I think give me this. It'll be easier for me. I'm sorry. Okay. It'll be easier for me to worship you. If it pleases you, this please. I like to have this. But you don't know. You don't know what. Maybe it'll be worse for you. Maybe how do you know what's good and what's bad? Because the person has a lot of averis and he gets Yisurim, so therefore the person with Yisurim, Hashem gives him a kapara. So you don't know. You don't know your story. You know your history. You know what happened. Nothing. Also, you have history of your parents, your grandparents. You know, you just come out of a parachute. You know, who knows where you are, where you from. You know. Yeah.
Like you said a minute ago, it says that if a person who's sick, not like serve Hashem. So why does it make sense to get Yisurim that a person gets sick to do tshuva? So if he's sick,
because this person has an arrogant, tough heart made out of stone. And when he's sick, he sits alone in the bed. He says, I better do tshuva. That's all.
So it's not that so he doesn't worship God because he's in bed that he can't do anything.
But he knows enough, but it gives him God-fearingness. Likes to do tshuva. That's all. You don't know why or why. It could be a thing. Whatever it is. Anyway, I want to finish it over. We have a few minutes. Tiku b'chol shofar k'dei she'ezkor lochem hakeda ki b'hakeda it's tayin amavinu b'yiras Hashem. Why remember the shofar? Again, God-fearingness. I'll tell you, Adati ki yoshamata. Yishadam yichared ayidei kol shofar. When I hear your shofar, I usually stay still. I let my feet down. I try to absorb it into my being and try to hear that into my soul. And the mitzvah listen to shofar. And according to the Chachamim, according to the Nevuah, it should shake me to do tshuva, and it should get Yirat. Now we're eating the word Yirat Shamayim. I should have fear God of Yom Hadin, which is going to be more God-fearing. Let this help me be God-fearing, which itself is the refuah for the machalas. Understand? Zetziv Yos Hashem. Yos Hashem mevia lizkor akeda. In other words, fear remembers akeda. Macha asher apachad meyom hadin zeu etzem arfuah. Meila hahechach laharchiv hadiba b'pachad. He said gufa arfuah. Therefore, I want to continue to say me dimus me. B'yom hadin almost b'chol. You want to get them. What?
What is dimus?
Let's say dimus b'yom hadin.
The doors?
What?
The scales.
The scales.
Not sure.
The demons, the problems in Madin, almost b'cholta.
What?
And I'll get loads of good information. Anyway, girls, I have to go again, but I gave you now 2 refuahs. Instead of having Abu Hachir give you a refuah, eating healthy food, the refuah is fear of din and bitachon Hashem for Rosh Hashanah. That is what they do. The mitzvahs say, it's a payah.
I think yesterday we heard a story about a rabbi who went out to the desert and the doctor went to sleep there.
Yeah.
He wanted to prove that he
To
only
himself. Himself. Not us. To himself. Yeah.
So, but we know that a person not supposed to put
Comes in sakana. So the answer is, if he had total bitachon in Hashem, he doesn't do it. It says in Chaim Volozhin, if you have einod bilvado in your mind, nothing can be happening. You have to have that state of being. What is that? Demon? Zakai. It's even better. To come out good, almost behold, packed in with loads of good. Very nice. I like that blessing at the end. We didn't know what it was, but it's okay. You have to get a copy of this. Maybe somebody else is going to get a copy. Huh? You should learn. It's a very big piece. A very big thing. You have one more.